we're going to bring up your next speaker. That's going to be the wonderful, magnificent Chris James.
If you talk about how much you hate your fat, your body has been working all this time to keep you alive.
I don't think anybody in my circle understands impossible. Hi, I'm Chris James, and today we got a banger because we're going to be talking about how you can use hydration as a tool for not only an appetite suppressant, for also to boost your weight loss. So if you guys are ready, let's get into that now. To kick this party off, we're going to talk about true hunger versus thirst and what is the difference. See, a lot of people misunderstand their thirst pains as hunger. So both sensations actually originate from the same area of the brain, which is the hypothalamus, and they are triggered by the same chemical, which is histamine. So this actually causes a misinterpretation, and it can lead to unnecessary eating, which leads to weight gain, which leads to a cycle of overeating when your body actually just wants hydration. Now, I want you guys to think about this. If they say our body is 70% water, but the average American is dehydrated, then that means that we should be 75% water, 80% water, or even more, okay? So that means that we're in a chronic state of dehydration. All right, so if we understand that also means that we're constantly misreading our thirst pain as hunger because we're chronically dehydrated. This is the reason why we get the signal to eat so frequently, and we misinterpret that. And this is something we teach through fasting, how to kind of understand when you're actually hungry. And there's different techniques you can use to kind of test, all right? So although both of these signals are managed by the hypothalamus, if mild dehydration is there, which we've already kind of established that is, it will show and present as a hunger pain. So what you can do is you could just simply focus in on hydration. Now in real time, what you could do is, 2 hours or an hour before you're going to have your meal, like if you know you're going to be eating at 5, by 4 p.m. you want to have drank maybe 16 to 32 ounces of water. What that's going to do is give your body an opportunity to adjust and send a different signal. That way, around 5 o'clock, when you typically get hungry, if you're not getting hungry, then you realize, okay, yeah, that was just a thirst pain. That's really what that was all about. Now, one of the things I learned when I was in construction, it's very difficult to hydrate in real time. And the reason why is just because we drink water as a hydration source, and water doesn't hydrate. Water has to be processed by the body and then converted into H3O2 or, some form of fourth phase of water, cellular water. So keeping that in mind, it's better to hydrate days in advance versus trying to do it in real time. But this is just a tip you guys could use to kind of get yourself started right now. Now let's break this down a little bit further. Why does this matter for weight loss? Well, if you eat in response to thirst, you're going to consume calories you don't need. And the thing is, when you eat in response to thirst, you're going to eat at least twice as much. And then on top of that, we're already severely dehydrated, or at least mildly dehydrated, and you're going to eat something that's probably dehydrating, which creates a self-perpetuating cycle. The more dehydrated you become, the more hungry you become, right? Now, you're sated for a moment, you're sated for a moment, but then you get hungry 2 hours later, 3 hours later. At this point in my life, I'm probably eating 1 to 2 times a day, right? I don't do any snacking in between. It's very rare. So most of the times, I'm just eating twice a day max. In between that, I'm drinking. And I think if you guys notice like this throughout my videos and things, you'll see me drinking. I always have my little copper cup with me. Earlier it was mirin glass or infinity jars. Before that, after that, I did the crystal water bottles. And because of that habit of always drinking water and not just drinking any old kind of water, structuring or charging the water, I just don't get hungry. Okay, so I think that's a good testament to what we're talking about here today. So as we talked about earlier, when you feel hungry, drink first, right? Give yourself 8 to 12 ounces of distilled or pure water. Charge it if you can, sun charge it, add a little, plant material to it. Wait at least 20 to 30 minutes and just see how your body responds. If the feeling fades, then obviously that was thirst, right? If it remains, then you could say, all right, let me eat something. I would recommend eating something high in water content because you still may be dehydrated. We are severely dehydrated. So get yourself some watermelon or some cucumbers or, some avocados. Make something that's high in water content. And then once again, see how your body responds. As you guys kind of work with this and you're trying to make this a lifestyle, I want you guys to think about this concept. Frame your eating habits as hydrate first. Right? We have this other one. You want to eat raw before you eat cooked food. But before you eat your raw food, you want to drink. Hydrate first, then eat raw, then eat cooked. If you go through life, if you adapt this lifestyle, this alone is going to help you lose weight, right? This alone is going to help you lose weight. But we can reduce how much we eat by using techniques like this. Now, water is a natural appetite suppressant. We've kind of already played on that a little bit earlier when we talked about how water, reduces the hunger pangs because you're really just thirsty. So if you drink water before you eat your meal, you'll kind of fill up a little bit on water. Now, depending on if you have an empty stomach or if you've got food in your stomach, you could digest that water in about 5 minutes or so. And that's an important thing to know because you don't want to fill up on water right before you eat. Like, okay, I'm about to sit down to eat. I fill up on water and then I start eating. You want to give your body time to digest that water out so that you don't disrupt your hydrochloric acid in your stomach so that you get good digestion. So it's important that we're not drinking any liquids while we're eating. If you guys have poor digestion, that may be part of that, reason. You're diluting your hydrochloric acid. So I would recommend at least 20 minutes before you eat. Fill up on water first. If you've never tried this, try it. Just try it and see how your body responds. Fill up on water first, then 20 minutes later, boom, it digests. Now, if you've already eaten and you're still digesting food, it might take you up to an hour to digest. So that's just something to understand. You can fill up on water, but if you've got food in your belly, it may take you longer to digest. So empty stomach just makes this so much easier, but you guys just need to understand. Now, water actually boosts the metabolism and fat burning in the body, right? Now, in order to lose weight, you have to be well hydrated. If you're not well hydrated and you try to lose weight, we see loose skin and we see bad outcomes kind of stem from that. So we want to stay away from losing weight without being hydrated. So now you hydrate. Well, what does hydration do? It gives energy to the cells, right? The cells cannot generate energy without water or hydration. So if water is your main energy source, it's like the body's cash flow. This means that water is going to generate electricity. It's going to generate magnet energy inside every cell of the body. It's going to provide the life energy that you need to survive, to thrive, to heal. Right? When the cells are healthy, they're hydrated, they're healing, they're dumping toxins, you're losing weight. The fat cells are going to hold on to contaminants that the body doesn't have the energy to push out. So you're giving the body energy when you hydrate. And then that energy is converted into healing power. And guess what? You lose weight. Okay, is this all making sense? So water actually does prevent water retention and bloating. I've talked about this before. When you are bloated, when you have water retention, whether it's in your legs, in your arms, in your stomach, wherever it is your body crying for hydration. So we look at it like, oh, the body's holding on to water. We have to force water out of the body. Well, it's really saying, hey, I'm holding on to this because I need hydration. And remember, the body can't take water in and just hydrate. It has to convert it to H3O2 or to, the fourth phase of water, or what I call cellular water. So that process of converting it into cellular water takes time. And if you're already low, if your body's low functioning, it's going to take even longer. So now you're holding on to water. The body's trying to convert that stuff into something it could use. You're putting more liquid in. You're putting more food in. You're stacking poop on top of poop. We're going to keep it PG. Okay. And so what ends up happening is you start to see the water pool in your system. Well, if you start hydrating, You start giving your body water, right? Because a lot of us, we're drinking soda, we're drinking coffee, we're drinking tea, we're drinking Kool-Aid, we're drinking everything but water. So when we start being intentional about what we're drinking, the body now starts to release because it's getting what it needs. Okay. Also, I think you all will be intrigued to know water is the absolute best diuretic. You have water retention. They want to put you on a water pill or something of that nature. Do you realize that you can use water as a diuretic? See, we always talk about how when we fast and we drink all this water, it flushes out electrolytes. And I've been telling you all for years that that's not true. But what it does do, it will flush out excess minerals and material in the body that doesn't need to be there, that's causing disruption, that's not in balance. And so when we use water as a tool to become a diuretic, which I'm sure you guys have all experienced, you drink 20 ounces of water like within a few minutes, right? And then within 30 minutes, you're going to the bathroom. So the water will actually flush out that excess of minerals and material in the body that we don't need. It'll flush out inorganic minerals that are causing crystals and stones in the body. It is an absolute amazing tool for cleansing the body. So earlier we talked about how water supports detoxification. Well, think about this. Water going into the cell is going to help flush out toxins that can actually trigger cravings. See, when you eat something, you think I ate it, I digest it, I poop it out. No, that's not what happens. There are constituents of that food product that you eat that are actually imparted into the blood, into the cells. It becomes you. That's why they say you are what you eat. You can actually use water to flush out the constituents that are causing you to have cravings, the addictive things that are in our food, put there on purpose so that we consume. You can actually start flushing that out with water. You don't need to know science. You don't need to know the anatomy. All you got to do is just implement this strategy and the body will take care of all the work on its own. Now, I want you guys to remember water is a calorie-free replacement for sugary drinks. If your culture was to drink Kool-Aid with your meals, trust me, I know. I used to love Kool-Aid too. I knew how to make Kool-Aid. You get two different flavors, 4 cups of sugar. You fill up your little, a 2-quart or a 4-quart container. And I mean, it's the most sugary thing that you can actually consume, right? So because we've developed these habits of drinking Kool-Aid, coffee, tea, sweet tea, McDonald's sweet tea. Yeah, I used to do the McDonald's sweet tea for $1. Yeah. So we're drinking these things that not only have artificial flavoring, not only have tons of sugar, but they also have like all of these other chemical stabilizers and things in it that we're not even aware of. And it's having a negative impact on our weight loss or our weight gain. And so if we just get rid of all that, we just silence all the noise and we just drink water, now not only are we supporting everything we've talked about so far, but we're also cutting out something that we think is not really that big of a deal. Like if you have a 12 ounce with your meal, you think, no big deal, but you're not thinking about how much concentrated, refined sugar and products are in that drink. And so cutting that out will do wonders for your skin, your energy, your clarity of mind, etc. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is how water actually promotes healthy digestion and it makes you regular, right? Because why do you gain weight in the first place? Improper digestion. It doesn't really matter how you break it down. You could say the gut flora is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. You could have blockages. You could have a coating in your intestinal tract, your colon. You could have issues all over the place. But ultimately, you eat something, your body doesn't properly break it down. It doesn't digest it. It doesn't assimilate it well, and it doesn't poop it out well. So wherever that chain is broken, it doesn't matter, but what it's going to result in is weight gain, inflammation. It's going to result in water retention. It's going to result in chemicals. It's going to disrupt your hormone balance, and you're going to see issues all over the place, skin issues, cognitive function issues, etc. Right? So if we can boost digestion, if we can do something to enhance how regular we are, then that's going to help clear all of those issues up slowly but surely. If you guys are only going to the bathroom once every couple of days, you surely have a problem. If you're eating 3, 4, 5 times a day and you're only having one bowel movement, you surely have a problem. I'm gonna tell you guys, proper digestion, your body is going to eliminate within 2 hours of eating. That would be like peak. When I say within 2 hours, There's levels to that. There's levels to that, right? But if you think about like an infant, a brand new baby, born healthy, born with no just natural home birth, as healthy as a baby can be. When that baby starts eating, after they have their first poop and everything, and then they start getting into their pooping cycle. If you guys have ever dealt with an infant, they drink their milk or whatever, they're pooping. 30 minutes later, they're pooping. Okay, so this is a human being that has pretty much perfect digestion. Now, I personally have actually experienced this when I started fasting. I did, my first long stint of fasting, and I was fasting on and off for about 5 months. And during that time, I was eating alkaline in between. So my digestion went to a level I'd never seen it at. Not only did the quality of my bowel movements change, the texture, the smell, but the frequency. I would eat, and within an hour, I was having a bowel movement. Not only that, but the bowel movements were huge. And I was only eating an avocado or an apple or, whatever, mono fruits. And the bowel movements were huge. And what that taught me was when we eat all day long and we have one bowel movement, we are not eliminating completely. Okay? I know that 100% from my own experience. So what does water do? Well, first thing in the morning, you have your water sitting on your nightstand. Maybe you've got some lime slices or lemon slices that have been cold steeping overnight. You hit it first thing in the morning. It's going to lubricate your system. Well, what does that do? Well, it helps to say, hey, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and encourage a bowel movement? Okay, because overnight your body's wants to eliminate anyway. You're eliminating through the breath, your tongue, gas and all kinds of stuff is coming out of you. Crust is coming out the eyes. And so now you wake up and the first thing you should do is eliminate. And if you do that, guess what? You have less retention. You have less waste in your system. Okay. I have a rule, and I didn't come up with this rule. I didn't think of it. It happened. I don't eat until I have a bowel movement. So if I wake up and for whatever reason, maybe what I had the day before didn't sit well with my body, I'm not gonna eat until I have a bowel movement. And then it puts a lot of energy on what can I do to move my bowels? Because even if I start to get hungry, I'm not going to eat till I have a bowel movement, because I know it's just going to stack. So now I'm using my different tools, whether it's the SP6 patches, whether it's using castor oil, hexane-free castor oil, a tablespoon of that. You could use Epsom salt water, which just tastes like sewage water, but it works. There's many different ways, massages, or you could just drink water. You could drink some lemon water. You could potentially do some fruit juice, to help move the bowels. And some of you all might have your own tips and things for moving your bowels as you kind of start to learn your body better. It doesn't matter. The point is, if you're on top of your bowel movements, it's very hard for you to gain weight. If you are on top of your hydration and you're not mistaking thirst for hunger, it's very hard to gain weight. If you're looking to lose weight and you're hydrating well, and you go from being 70% hydrated, which is probably chronic dehydration, and you increase to 75% or 80% water content, you're gonna be able to lose weight much more easy. Your body's not going to hold on to toxins. If you have water retention and you're drinking water regularly, your body, it automatically, water becomes a natural diuretic. You guys see? So by understanding how water impacts the body, you can understand how it's going to impact your weight loss, your weight gain, your appetite, and everything that is related to like health, boosting your health, detoxification, longevity, clarity of mind. The body needs water for everything. Okay, so hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. If it was, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. Join us, AHA communities. If you guys are still in our Facebook group, I've been getting these weird warnings from Facebook basically saying, hey, we're about to ban your group because we have flagged so many of your posts. So make sure you move over to AHA communities. If you haven't already, subscribed. And as always, the application of knowledge is power. And I'll see you all next time.